is Sportsline.
Hey there, Sportsline on your television on a busy Monday here in the Music City. One of the Nashville true sports icons and legends, at least in the coaching business, Rick Byrd, has announced his retirement. He called a team meeting this morning, as he has done so many times since 1986 when he was hired at Belmont. But this one was different because this one was the final one, and it was not an April Fool's joke today. Rick Byrd sitting his players down and telling them that a month ahead of his 66th birthday, he is going to retire. Focus on family, focus on his new grandson, do some of the other things in life that he enjoys while he's got great health. And he's walking away from the game, from the team, and the university that he loves. 33 seasons at Belmont, 38 years as a head coach overall, 41 seasons as a college basketball coach of some way, shape, or form. 805 victories, has become the 26th person ever in college basketball to top the 800-win milestone. He is the 12th winningest coach in NCAA Division I history at this point. He led Belmont to 2 NAIA Final Fours, and then the school had at the time, what many people thought was the crazy idea to try to leap from the NAIA to Division I NCAA basketball. There have been roughly 50 schools to do that since Belmont has done it, or in the time that Belmont has done it over the last 20 years or so. Almost all of those schools have ended up having to fire their head coach at some point because it's just a different level of basketball. Rick Byrd became a Hall of Famer through the transition because they go from an NAIA powerhouse into a team that dominated the Atlantic Sun by the time they left that league, and now is right there with Murray State as the cream of the crop in the OVC. 9 conference regular season championships, 7 conference tournament titles, 8 NCAA tournament appearances. Of course, that first NCAA tournament win over Temple just a couple of weeks ago. Rick Byrd has done amazing things at Belmont. There is no question about it. He will be missed within that program. He will be missed at that school. And just an anecdote of what he meant for the university as a whole. Consider this. My first real exposure to both Rick Byrd and Belmont was 13 years ago, just over 13 years ago, in the first week of the NCAA tournament. It was 2006. And I was, at the time, a senior in college at the University of Illinois, and I was covering the Illinois basketball team in the NCAA tournament, first and second round games, out in San Diego for my job at the time with the Illini Sports Network. And I get out there, and there's this other school there named Belmont that really nobody in San Diego had heard much about. And so you start kind of doing the research because they're right there in the pod with you, right? And you find out that Belmont is the small school, Nashville, Tennessee, most known for its music performance major. Its most famous fan and pseudo-alum is Vince Gill, even though he never actually attended school there. He just got an honorary degree. And they had this head coach, Rick Byrd, who'd been there since 1986, helped transition them in to Division I basketball, and this was Belmont's first ever NCAA tournament. They played UCLA and they got hammered. But a couple years later, they lost to Duke at the buzzer. And they later played North Carolina and won. And they beat UCLA later on, this year in fact, with Rick Byrd's teams. And they just kept winning all those conference championships and into the NCAA tournament all the time. And guess what? All that exposure of winning those conference tournaments and being on the brackets on Selection Sunday and going back to the tournament and playing in March Madness over and over again. Yeah, it was great for the Belmont basketball program. People figured out who Rick Byrd was and how good of a coach he is. But it was also great for Belmont. The school's enrollment has more than tripled in the time that it went from NAIA to NCAA Division I. 20-year span, more than tripled. Think about that. It is not just a school that people are like, huh, Belmont, where's that anymore? It is a known commodity. And that's because of what Rick Byrd did. He was hired in 1986 to be the guy to try to compete with the crosstown behemoth that was Lipscomb in NAIA basketball. And he has taken Belmont to heights that no one could have possibly imagined. And when he won 800 games this year, think about the people who are first to congratulate you. It was Coach K, Roy Williams, Jim Boeheim. I mean, college basketball royalty. They all know about Rick Byrd. And frankly, he could have been them if he wanted to. He's that good of a coach, and he is that well respected. But he loved Nashville. He loved this state. He loved Belmont. He loved his teams. And he just kept doing what he was doing in Belmont. And he did it better than anybody. And he built that program, and he built the skill, and he built the school into something nobody really ever imagined. And I mean, there are a lot of other things going on at Belmont too. It's not just Rick Byrd, and he would be the first person to tell you that. But there is no denying that a huge part of the university's growth ties in to making the leap to NCAA Division I basketball. And they only could have done that, and they certainly could have only done it successfully because of Rick Byrd. So congratulations to him. And it's also really neat, I think, from my perspective, that he gets to do it by going out on top. So many guys, so many coaches especially, basketball, coaching, their teams, that's what they know, and they can't imagine life without that. And so they don't really have a life without that. They're just consumed by winning the next game. And that was never really Rick Byrd. He was always about the relationships. He was always about doing it the right way. Never a sniff of trouble in that program. All of his players graduate. All of them. I was talking to President Fisher, Bob Fisher, the president of Belmont University today. He said he thinks there may have been one player in Byrd's 33 years that did not graduate, although he's not completely sure because he does know for a fact that player was back in school after he left the program taking classes towards a degree. He's just not sure if he finished or not. Think about that for a second. There are a lot of programs out there that have guys not graduate every year. He maybe had one player in 33 seasons. It was a focus on the man or the kid who became a man. It was a focus on academics. It was a focus on being good citizens. They ran the program exceptionally well, and then on top of that, they won. And there's people out there who don't believe you can do all that. Rick Byrd is living proof that you can. And for that reason, there are a lot of people I know in college basketball today who traded text messages back and forth who would tell, I know Coach Byrd for a fact, but also just in conversation with me, kind of go out of their way, that today was a bad day for college basketball because you lost one of the really good ones. It's hard to argue with that. But I am thrilled for Rick Byrd in that he is able to do it on his own terms. Because so often these guys who are consumed in what they're doing, they can't see the rest of life. And he always did it while keeping his family in the forefront. He goes everywhere with his wife, Cheryl. She's great. He's going to try and be as good on the tennis court as she is now that he's done. He's going to golf more with his buddies. Has a lot of friends that he likes to do with that. They want to travel more. They've got, obviously, kids. One here locally. They've got kids elsewhere. He has a new grandson in Oklahoma. He wants to go down and spend time with him and his family there. He now gets the chance to do that. And it's great to see that at 65 because he's healthy. I mean, if you've seen him on a tennis court, which I have, you know he can get around. You know he's still an athlete at this point. And he's going to be able to do all that and truly enjoy it now without the stress and the rigors of being a college basketball coach and the pressure of trying to get back to March and win when you get there and then not sleep as you prepare for your next game, as he did during the NCAA tournament. He gets to enjoy the other parts of life now, and that's really, really cool. Coming up on the program tonight, we can hear from you guys if you'd like to participate in what might be a little bit of a love fest for Coach Byrd tonight. But we'll also take you to his retirement press conference this afternoon. We'll hear from Dr. Fisher, Scott Corley, the athletic director, who has the unenviable task of trying to now fill the shoes of Rick Byrd as the head coach of the Belmont men's basketball team. And, of course, hear from Rick Byrd himself. We'll also dive into the NCAA tournament brackets a bit. Coach Byrd in studio last night on the Electric Power Company Sunday Sports Central to help us break down some of the brackets. He will help us do that here on the program as well. Possibly some Lipscomb talk as well as they get set for the NIT Final Four tomorrow night against Wichita State. We'll take our first break. We'll come back and get into the Rick Byrd retirement press conference right after this here on Sportsline on News Channel 5+.
This is a Storm 5 weather update. For weather on the go, download the Storm Shield app.
Clouds continue to dance across the area, and overnight tonight they will steadily thicken as we head into the overnight hours. Chance for a few scattered showers, mainly south and southeast of Nashville as the cloud cover slides in. There's not much moisture to work with, so if you do get rained on, it'll be a few hundredths of an inch at most. Temperatures, they won't be as cold because of the cloud cover, but we will still dip into the 30s tonight, upper 30s for most. Here's a look at temperatures across the southeast and, of course, current conditions right here in Nashville. We do bottom out at 39 in Nashville with a 30% chance for some stray showers, mainly south and southeast. Thankfully, the rain and the clouds, they all scoot out of town. By mid-morning, we're left with sunny skies in the afternoon and a pretty pleasant day. 60s, low 60s for your Tuesday, low 70s for your Wednesday. We'll keep it in the 70s as we head towards the weekend, with 2 more chances for rain, scattered showers Thursday, scattered storms Sunday, Monday.
She stands in the face of evil and will not lose hope or faith. America, the land of freedom, is still the home of the brave. So raise the banner, call no glory. Let us join our fellow man. History will write the story. America will always stand. History will write the story. America will always stand.
Maybe you can make retirement happen. After all, you made home ownership happen. Homeschooling yourself on loans, beefing up your credit score.
So I'm pre-approved.
You were like, yes! Sorry. Color-coding listings, ticking boxes, and flushing every toilet in a 20-mile radius. Home sweet home. You aced house hunting. Now get the tips you need to get on track at aceyourretirement.org.
All right, we're back here on Sportsline. Big day in Nashville, of course. Rick Byrd announcing his retirement this morning in a team meeting with his players after 805 wins, 8 trips to the NCAA tournament, 9 conference championships. So many great things to talk about when it comes to Rick Byrd. Let's take you to the press conference now from this afternoon. President Bob Fisher going to be the first one to come to the mic after we get welcome in to the festivities to set up the big day for Rick Byrd.
Thank you. And thanks, Greg. Thanks for arranging things today, putting all this together. It's It's my pleasure to welcome all the media here today. Thank you all for being here. This is one of those days where you have to choose your emotion. We could approach it with sadness and regret. Sadness that we won't be able to witness a genius, and I mean genius at work here at Belmont. When I looked it up to make sure I was spelling it right, I read this definition, some of these phrases: exceptional intellectual ability, creative productivity, especially associated with significant advances in a domain. This domain being men's basketball. Rick is a genius at this. Rick has exemplified all of these characteristics in his behavior. Or it could be regret. And I certainly have a little regret that I didn't retire first. And now, and someone else wouldn't have to, besides Scott and I, do the impossible job of finding someone to replace Rick Byrd. It won't happen. But the other approach to a moment like this is one of joy and gratitude, and I choose that. The joy that I felt for Rick in jumping up and down like a little kid on the court there up in Dayton after we won that game against Temple. I know I embarrassed Rick. I even hugged him, but I don't care. It was a joyful moment. The joy that I know that it has come and will come to Rick as he has enjoyed his first grandchild, as he will be spending more and more time with his family. And I'm just joyful for you, Rick. And then there's gratitude, and it's, I don't want to miss this opportunity, by the way, and this is sort of parenthetical, to express my gratitude to President Trout, my predecessor here, who 25, 26 years ago decided to go from NAIA directly to Division I. That's crazy, but it worked. And it worked because we had the right coach. And it worked because we focused on the right sport, and now it's brought all our other sports along with it. And I'm grateful to Dr. Trout for that leadership. But right now at this moment, I want to focus my gratitude on Rick Byrd. My gratitude for a job so well done, I don't even know where to start to talk about it. So I won't go very long. But our core values at Belmont include integrity, service to others, collaboration or working together as a team, and humility. That's 4 of our 5 values. I don't know anyone at this school who exemplifies that better than Coach Byrd, and has proven it over and over, and has demonstrated and lived it out for all of us, for our students, but especially, Rick, for your players. So it's with the biggest heaping of gratitude that I can come up with that I say to you, thank you for your leadership at Belmont. And I and the entire Belmont community wish you, Cheryl, and your family the very, very best. And I feel sorry for anyone who now goes on this golf course with you thinking they're going to win, including this threesome back there. It's just waiting for you to be the 4th, I think. Rick, thank you, and we love you. Thank you. And now let me ask Scott Corley, our athletics director, to make some comments. Thank you.
Thanks, Dr. Fisher. Well, Bruin fans, I think we can all say this was a day we were dreading happening. Unfortunately, it is here. And I got to say, I'm a little disappointed I couldn't get 4 years out of Coach Byrd, since I gave him 4 years when he first got here. So I got 3 out of him. But I also was hoping, last night he was going to send me a text saying April Fools and played the biggest April Fool's joke on us today, but unfortunately that's not true. We have been getting a lot of that in social media, though. And Coach, I will say the best part of today is that I don't have to answer the question now when you're going to retire. Every lunch I went to, every person who would always ask that. But look, today is certainly a bittersweet day for me and for all of Bruin Nation. Selfishly, I'm sad for our coaches. I'm sad for our staff and anyone that got to work with Coach on a day-to-day basis, because we won't be able to learn from him anymore going forward in that setting. I said many times before that he sets the tone for our department, and that is true, and that's going to be missed deeply by all of us. I'm sad for our current players and the incoming recruits, that they don't get a chance to learn from this man. And I know he taught me so many life lessons as a player, and I just hate that those guys won't be able to continue to learn from him. And lastly, and again, this is all selfish, I'm really sad for college basketball. In a day and age when the game has a lot of negative things going around it, to lose Coach to this retirement is a loss, because he did it the right way. He stood for everything that the student-athlete experience should be about, and I feel bad for college basketball that we're losing him. But Coach, it's obviously, like Dr. Fisher said, it's really a happy day for you, and I'm so happy for you. I'm happy for Cheryl. You know, that on your decision. I know how difficult it is, having now seen it, just the grind of running a Division I program. And I think the thing that makes you so great is you gave it 110% to the very end. A lot of coaches could have kind of mailed it in, but you did not, and that's why you were as successful as you were. And I'm really glad that we were able to experience, and you were able to experience, this historic season, getting your 700th win at Belmont, your 800th win overall, obviously the postseason success. So Coach, I'm very, very happy for you. You know, when I look back and think about Rick Byrd, I think the words that come to mind is that he was a man of integrity, character. He was a teacher. He was the most competitive person I know. Didn't want to lose at anything. And then, most importantly, he's just a winner. He's a winner. And whatever he did, he won, and he won it doing it the right way. And so, Coach, on behalf of the entire Belmont athletic community, I just want to say thanks. Thanks for everything you've done to promote this wonderful university and help build the brand of Belmont athletics. Thanks for the impact you've made on your players, coaches, and managers. And really, thanks for just doing it the right way. So congrats on your retirement, and job well done, Coach. Here we go.
The worst thing about all this is I forgot my handkerchief, and Cheryl might have to get some Kleenex out here in a minute. You know, there's a lot of people in here that are friends and I care about, and they weren't even really invited. So if y'all would just turn around so I don't see your faces, this will help me a whole lot get through the rest of this. I intended this entirely to be about just a question and answer, because I'm just not capable of saying thanks like I need to at this moment. So this university and its growth and its excellence is what made this all possible. Yeah. So I'm just the lucky one to get to work here for 33 years. So I would a lot rather answer questions than try to go any further than that.